Okay, now, Asha, I have information up on the screen. I want you to elaborate on that. Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my computer. Did you put it in the chat?
Yeah, to me, to everyone, yeah.
I don't see. I only see a message from Mario saying his back is killing him. He's been doing Kali all day. That's the only one I see, Bob. No, I
been doing Kali all day and his back is hurting.
Yeah, because you mentioned Kali, you know, breaking through and doing all that clearing and rushing up. Okay, yes. Wait, let me, I really need my glasses. Okay, human beings in this age are generally short-lived, indolent, and short understanding, unfortunate and afflicted. Yet if they live a little longer, they care not to know about their subtle body and the chakras within. All is shakti, all is consciousness. We desire to think and speak. This is Icha Shakti. We make an effort towards realization. This is Kriya Shakti. We think and know. This is Jnana Shakti. Through Pranavayu, another form of Shakti, we speak, and the word we utter is Shakti Mantra Mai. Okay.
Okay.
So yes. So expanding upon that, I mean, well, just generally, yes. To simply sum it up, because Babaji always tells me to keep it distilled. That the Shakti is the power behind everything. She being the power behind everything that we do, and without her, then nothing else has the ability to even be. So we see the images of Shiva's lifeless corpse, and Shakti always upon it, symbolizing that without her, so without Shiva, Shakti is incomplete, but without Shakti, Shiva can't even shudder, he can't even move, he can't do anything. He's like a lifeless corpse. So the Shakti being the power behind everything, and through the use or the receiving of the mantras and allowing them to awaken those wisdoms that live on the inside, then we have the ability to awaken that Shakti. It's already there, but there's so many people lying dormant. So as Babaji says, we have all these desires and things that we want to do and think, but then we don't really have the power to act in the way, because we haven't awakened the Shakti on the inside of us. And the mantra practice that Babaji reminds us too, that without mantra there is no tantra. So the mantra is the power. The mantras are the goddesses. They live within the mantras. They are the mantras, and that is what activates them within our body. As he mentioned, that sound, the shabda, which is of Brahman, or the absolute, and is what animates and creates and gives power to everything, brought everything into creation. And so it's in the tantric text, they talk about the divine mother of creation's subtle form, as in the form of mantra, being what brings everything into creation. So Babaji shares these beautiful teachings and practice with us so that we can remove the clouds of emotional memories and be able to really express the truth of who we truly are and our divine nature, and waking up to that. So would you like me to expound more upon that? And
why not? You're teaching to be out there as well.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji. So I moved the microphone in front of me. So then in sharing that, and then Babaji teaches us the mantras of the Dasha mahavidyas, are the 10 wisdom goddesses, which is what he was referring to, is what I've been sharing the last few days with some of the women that are here. But these tantric goddesses, these tantric deities, represent the 10 perfections of wisdom of womanhood in women. And then in men, Babaji, I like how you share that that men in society are to hold and be stable pillars for women, the power of the Shakti to express. And so in men, they find a way to, when they do express and awaken, it also teaches men a way to respect and serve womanhood or Shakti in a very righteous and beautiful way. And so the Dasha Mahavidyas then become a blueprint for all of the mother's forms, and they are very, very old, and they do predate the Vedas. And the journey that Babaji takes us on with them, and the descending order of working with them, starting with clearing the path, and then coming down in this soft, gentle way of working with the Dasha Mahavidyas, so that we don't blow a circuit or enhance what's already there. Babaji shares with us how when whatever is already in us, so if we just start doing these very harsh practices without preparing the vessel so that they can, one, contain the teachings that are offered, but that we can clear out the vessel and prepare the vessel in that way, then we tend to awaken these powers. And power is neutral, so power doesn't choose, it's neutral. What happens with it depends on your intention and what you do with it. But if you have a lot of misplaced ego and or any of the number of things we can think of in terms of things that would be detrimental to our growth on the spiritual path, and then we start awakening the power within us, then it amplifies that. So the way that it's offered through ParaTan Inner Sakthi to clear, using Ganesha, or receiving Ganesha first, and clearing that energy, and having our sadhana, our spiritual practice, in the way of, you think about the limbs of yoga, and the yamas and niyamas being first. So coming into that a space of right action, and clearing and purifying, so that we can have a sound vessel that can contain the teachings and not amplify our already, which happens a lot in the West, and in general now, in misplaced ego, or emotional clouds and blockages and traumas and things that happened, which can get amplified if we don't work in a gentle way, and a way of purification and clearing out first. So this beautiful way of practicing with them, with Ganesha, with clearing the cobwebs, with clearing the emotional stuff, the traumas, the things that happened in this lifetime, and through the overculture, and that we've received through the navel, through our mother, and all of those imprints that came. Then we can clear those out, so that then we can amplify and bring in what we would like to receive, and awaken those wisdoms on the inside. And I think it's beautiful, Babaji, that you shared how starting with the clearing, and then not even working with specific goddesses until that energy is clear, because they're not even a clear enough container to receive some of the teachings.
The most important factor I notice, all of you, you're not smiling, other than Dai, I think. The rest of you, you feel, no, Imara as well is smiling all. The rest of you are so concentrated on I don't know what. Remember, this place is for us to feel love and joy, because we're discovering something beautiful about ourselves, what is hidden within ourselves. Okay, most places you go, you have a big intellectual discussion. And who is this? Shakti, the practicing Shakti. Okay, she's been doing it for a long time, and now she enjoys doing mantras. Okay, so remember that you don't get this platform everywhere, where you can learn how to do bija mantras. You can learn how to do mantras according to frequency, and you can do it, and you will find that you experience that frequency within your body. Instead of focusing on melody and the God outside of you, you got to sing for the God within you. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo. I mean, you can do that for the next 100 years. You wouldn't even see Shiva. The only thing you have is you sit down in a group of people with harmonium and everything, and you have fun. And the minute it's over, you're looking at each other and talking about each other. No different from any other religious institution in the world. You try to break away from religion and go into this yoga and this beautiful new age mumbo jumbo and you have good time singing Om Namah Shivaya and you do Agnihotra, for half an hour, you're already on a spiritual path. No, you're not. You have not even started, because if you don't realize that you need to tap into your spirit, and one of the most important things to tap into your spirit, Jennifer, is smiling. Okay? Is being happy all the time. Nikita, do I have to tell you as well to do it? That's better. It should be an automatic thing, okay? I don't have to remind all of you every week. Okay. Asha, you can carry on. I just wanted to remind everyone to smile.
Yes, it was so beautiful that this morning we were sharing about beauty and delight and, and divine joy and play and all of those things, and how that within the tantric tradition, that yes, there are specific ways, there are specific methods, there are specific teachings that are traditional to the tantric path, from the mantra and the yantra and the rituals, the puja and these specific ways, but it's more so than the specific methods. It's about the pulling at the heart, the feeling, the emotion, the passion, the feeling of immense devotion, and that this is what makes a good sadhaka, because you have to be devoted. You have to have that devotion. And if you're not in joy in what you're doing, if you're not having a pull from the heart, if the heart is not expanding and opening and clearing, you're not going to sit down to do the work, that you're not going to sit down to do the practices that actually will help change us on a cellular level. We've been imprinted with so much from past lifetimes, from this lifetime, so many traumas and emotional blockages that we really have to change on a cellular level, on a DNA level. And it is a science as much as it is a spiritual practice, and the science of sound and the ways to use the sound, to receive the sound, to clear our energetic channel so that we can receive and open up to the universe, to open ourselves to the energies of the universe, and through various ways, through being in joy and gratitude, through taking care of, as Babaji mentioned, like the cleanliness and working in your home and seeing that as a spiritual practice, bringing into harmony of your mind, body, and spirit, and but not so much having to do these specific things in this specific order like this, but bringing in that joy and the simple act. Years ago when I started working with Babaji, he would constantly bring up pictures about, look at you, look how you're always frowning. You never look like you never look joyful. And I'm like, but I am. I think I'm smiling on the inside, but I wasn't. And the outer smile, the outer working with the mantras, with the sound in this very specific way, brought about such a profound awakening and clearing of stuff that I didn't even realize was there. Because we get used to our own stuff and we think that's just who we are and that's how we are. And but when we really do work and operate from this space of passion and devotion and seeing life as a love making, and have divine trust in the mother, and trust is a big key in this Shakti sadhana, then we really are able to invoke what it is that we want to receive through that truth of the truth of what is our devotion and our trust. And Babaji, I read this morning from Sri Ma Anandamayi Ma. It's very, very short, but it just reminds me of what you were just saying about the joy and smiling and having that awareness that life is beautiful and life is what as we perceive it through our filters. And in a book that has some of her teachings, it says one of the delegates asked her, if the human character changes and everybody becomes unselfish, will the world then become perfect? And Sri Ma at once answered, but such it is already. And it was evident to the audience that she spoke from her own experience, where everything is the perfect expression of the perfect being. So she was just in this constant state of bliss in saying, like, what does it matter if everybody else is unselfish or in this way or that way? Everything is already perfect. So she's in that bliss state of just, everything is beautiful, everything's perfect. And she had reached such a state, and even through a simple practice of smiling and bringing more joy into our lives and passion into what we bring, it just transforms. It transforms everything, and it seems so minute. I used to get mad when people would be like, well, "Why don't you smile? Well, smile more, smile more." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to smile." And it changed. That small little thing is such a big thing. Like, it really changing the whole energetic field and outlook. And it's a beautiful, simple practice that we can bring in every day at every moment. And that doesn't mean that it's a spiritual bypass. It doesn't mean that we're like, oh, everything is all beautiful all the time. Well, you can, there will be things to come up, but as Babaji says, when we learn to mind our business, meaning that we don't get attached to those things that come up, even as they come into our field of awareness, we don't get attached and hold on to them and let them transform us from our true nature, that we're aware of what's going on, that we are being and doing what we are called here to do in this lifetime. And so we're not being pulled by all the things of the world, though we're aware that they're there. We're conscious and aware, and we're doing the work that we need to do, not pretending like things aren't happening, but we're doing the work that we need to do and not attaching to the things that we're powerless to change.
When you're attached to the world, you don't smile, okay? And if you want to break that attachment, then you have to learn to smile. Not just learn to smile, keep on smiling so that your organs will start smiling as well. You see, as long as your organs are not smiling, you're not going to be healthy. If you're not healthy, you've wasted your time on this earth. You are born, you are the highest of God's creation. God, Goddess, universe, whatever you want to call it. You're the highest. And being born a woman is the highest of high, because you are the carrier of life force. You're the carrier of shakti. You're the carrier of energy. Both men and women have to come through you. You're the custodian of the universal womb. That makes you the same as the mother of creation. But if you don't smile, you're just going to remain a biological machine. I would call you a robot. So if you're happy to be a robot, don't smile. Keep being grumpy.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say something about the smile, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, say it.
I thought you were pausing. I apologize. But the simplicity in it is, if so, you think about the Taoist tradition and the Taoist tradition, there's a practice called the inner smile and healing sounds. And when you spoke that about being healthy and healing, and you have to smile to do that, it is so true. And you see that throughout the traditions, and so even within the Taoist tradition, that practice of the inner smile and the healing sounds. And it's the same concept of these practices that Babaji is giving us. In that tradition, they talk about the positive and negative emotions being associated with our internal organs. And so one of the major keys to good health, as Babaji mentioned, is our emotions, becoming aware of our emotional energies, and that they do reside in our organs. And then to transform the negative emotional energies into more positive healing energies. And that inner smile practice is literally a practice of having that a smile on your face and bringing that energy of the inner smile to each of the organs, and then there's sounds that go with them. And so, yeah, it's not just something silly like, oh, just smile and everything will be okay. But the smile and the energetics that it holds really does affect, and you can carry that energy, that energetic of the smile as you do the mantras to the organs, to the cells, through the spine, and literally transform in that way.
Whatever the circumstances are, you have got to remember this. Life is a bitch, sorry, if you don't live it. And the only way you can live it is to feel the smile, feel the divinity you are. Acknowledge the fact that you are a gift on earth. What happens is we become a curse. Every species lives within the rules of nature. God made the biggest blunder. He gave us free will. What we did with the free will is even destroy the essence of God. That is Mother Earth. Okay, so smile. When you smile, your organ smiles with you too. Then to empower yourself, it's a lot easier. But if you want to stay unhealthy, if you want to stay depressed, don't smile. Keep complaining. Keep hoping that somebody is going to make you happy. If I find the right lover, I'll be happy. Believe me, a lot of you have found lovers, I don't know how many times. Okay, a lot of them, sometimes it lasts for a few years. Sometimes it only lasts for a few months. Sometimes for a few weeks only. Have you ever asked why you keep changing lovers like you change your underwear every day? Because you're not even connected to yourselves. How can you, being a robot, expect another robot to show feeling? You have to get out of that syndrome. You've got to become a human being. To become a human being, you have to be connected to your spirit. The spirit is that human in you. That means 2 hours sadhana every day without fail. That means learning how to do mantras the correct way. It's not easy. It takes a while. How long it took you, Asha?
Years. I don't remember how many, but years of regular practice, yes.
Because it keeps changing all the time. The beginning, when you learn, your voice is only a certain degree. It's not been trained. And if I keep telling you, okay, you're not trained your voice, change it, do this, do that, do this, do that, you will run away. If I let you happily experience a bit, and then I coax you to change, okay, now this is not working. You want to take it a bit further. You already experience a nice feeling about doing mantras. And then the next level you take it, it's even sweeter. And then I'll let you go on that sweet journey for a while. And then I'll ask you to change again, because your voice has to also grow with it. For me, trying to make you do the sound like I do it will be a problem. I have to wait for you to do the sound the way your voice can do it. So it takes years of practice. It takes years of learning. Yeah, Mario.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to say thank you. And here's why. Because ever since I've been doing mantras every day, almost not all day, but very many hours of the day. I used to be a very, very ungrateful person, Babaji.
Ungrateful.
Very ungrateful. Yes, I used to be. Okay. And ever since I've been doing the mantras as of recent, something changed on the inside. And the beauty is that everything changed on the outside. Like, things were occurring in my reality that allowed me to become more grateful. But the bottom line is, I want to speak experientially to all of the students and state that I'm very happy to have taken up this practice, because it has changed me on the inside. And my reality is just following suit as kind of like a result. And it's brought me a lot of happiness. In regards to attachments, which we discussed earlier, in terms of Vedic astrology, we know that Rahu is about attachments. Well, I started doing your mantra, Babaji, for Rahu. I started doing it often. And believe it or not, I'm starting to stand in my own uniqueness, love myself a little bit more, but more grateful. So I just want to say thank you. That's
Pleasure.
it.
But add Bhuvaneswari to it as well. Then she would give you that expansion between breaking away from Ragu and going into the final line. Bhuvaneswari.
Bhuvaneswari. Okay.
I think on my YouTube, you'll find her mantra.
Okay.
I don't think it is there.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Again.
Okay. Remember that on my YouTube, I give you a very close representation of how the sound got to be. But it is not about learning. It's about doing it and finding out what happens. Okay. If you want, you get to either study with me or Asha, where you learn how to do the mantra again and again. And you need a mentor to keep pushing you. Otherwise, you do this 3 day, 7 days a week. You do 3 days and you give yourself excuses for not doing the other 4 days. Then it goes to 2 days. Then eventually you go back to being who you are. It has to be 7 days. As much as you need to breathe, you need food, you need mantras. Don't you agree, Dai?
Yes, I do. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Imara?
Yes, Babaji, I totally agree.
Why you agree? Okay.
Well, I agree because just like breathing, on the days that I don't do it, I'm like, okay, am I coming down with something? I went to therapy last week, and it was some intensive therapy. And my sinuses, like, I got super sick from like crying every day. And then as soon as I started doing my mantras, well, I don't say I stopped, but as soon as I did my mantras, it's like I spent 3 days feeling like I couldn't breathe and everything. And my sinuses just opened up and I could talk again. And now I just got back last night around 12 o'clock. So I feel like that's why I sound like this today. But once I do my mantras, I'll be all good.
Yep. Basically, once you've done mantras, you know the difference. Because before that, pain was part of your friend. You know, for most people, like a lot of women, when they say, I have my period pain, they think it's normal, which is not normal. A woman should not have period pains because that is supposed to be when she's ripe, okay? It's supposed to be a time for festival to remind you of fertility, to remind you of your role that you have on earth. And what happened these days? 3 days before you start getting discomforts, then some take medication, painkillers. I mean, that is terrible. If you do mantras in the proper way, within 2, maybe 3 months, you find that even when it comes, if you're not aware of your body, you won't even notice it come until you find that everything is red. If you know your body, you can be prepared for it. If you don't know your body, you're not prepared for it. So pain is not your property, okay? So let it go. And the only way you can let it go is by empowering yourself. And for men, we have to learn, we got to do mantras twice as long as women because our body is congested. Our Muladhara and our second chakra, our lingam and testicles create a congestion in that area. Whereas women, the opening of the vagina and the Muladhara is very close to each other. And because of motherhood, the Ida and Pingala and Sosumna also flows from there. When I see how fast my wife got her energy moving compared to what I had to go through to do mine, you feel jealous. I mean, not that I was jealous, I was happy. But, it's like, wow. Everything moves in them within a week and it takes you years because for one simple thing, they are carrier of energy. We need them. But needing them is one thing. Knowing how to help them, help us is more important. The thing is this, don't get me wrong, okay? You can't do this with every woman that comes. You can't say 100% you're going to be successful. They must want to do it. It has to be a dance between two people. However great you are, however much knowledge you have, if that two parties don't want to dance together, you can't do anything. Then you have to do your own practice and take care of yourself. So men, if you can find a partner that would practice with you and allow you to use them as a carrier of energy. In Hindu tradition, all the different festivals and celebrations, everything is led by women. Only the priests, because that also, they force themselves into that position, that only they can do it. Only they can serve God. It's not true, but that's what they believe. Okay, a woman, when she's in a period, is not that she's dirty. They are asked not to go into do a lot of rituals because they are very open for energy to enter their body. So you're meant to practice on your own so that you don't draw upon other people's energy. You draw upon the divine energy. That's why in the old days, they go into the bush, or they are in a group of women that celebrate the same, like in Africa, I think they celebrate together. Okay, so that is okay. So it's not that menstrual blood is that bad, dirty, because menstrual blood is the one that brought all of us into this world. So how can it be bad or dirty? So whatever culture you come from, whatever they say about it, ignore them. This is the most special time of your life. Every moon cycle, you're connected to the moon. And we men have to support you. But remember that no man can support you unless you allow them to support you.